Hey, what is up, everybody? I'm Aries. Welcome to another MMA episode on Keep It a Buck podcast. I am supposed to be joined by Triton, but he is a very busy man. So it is just me recapping a very exciting UFC Fight Night card, UFC San Diego. I just want to say, anyone who's listening to this on Spotify or the audio version of it, this will be on YouTube. If you guys want some video and want to see my face, go ahead and check that out. We are on Keep It a Buck on YouTube. If you guys can't find it, if you guys type it in on the search bar and can't find it, uh, do me a favor and add filters to your search bar and do filters and just channels and type in Keep It a Buck. I should pop up at the top of that search bar, but help your boy out with a sub. Appreciate that. We are getting the YouTube and the videos out for the podcast, slowly but surely. But yeah, here we are, another recap episode. I do plan on dropping a midweek breakdown video of UFC 278 that's coming up this Saturday in Salt Lake City, Utah. So, yeah, happy Sunday. It's recap day. So let's get into UFC San Diego, where Marlon Vera fought Dominick Cruz, and it was a very, very exciting card. The fights delivered. There were a lot of finishes on this card, but the fights that went to decision, I'm not mad at. There were some good decision fights in that as well. But I think on paper this card didn't excite, but if you watched it, you caught a good one. So let's get into it though. I'm gonna start from the top. Of course, start with the main event and then work my way down on the main card, and then I'll just skim over the prelims, and then we have to get into some picks and discussions about UFC 278 that's happening this week. Usman versus Leon Edwards too. But hold on. I don't know why I drink soda to help with my dry mouth, but it doesn't help. I should just drink water, I know. So leave me alone. Anyways, so let's get into the main event. UFC San Diego, Marlon Chito Vera, Dominick Cruz. It was very active and exciting as long as it lasted. Man, Dominick Cruz came out on fire, pushing forward, very aggressive. Dom landed some great calf kicks early, and we're kind of throwing him out there throughout the fight sporadically. But when he threw it, it looked like it did some work. It did. It was good calf kicks from Dom. Um, he had very great timing on his takedowns as well. His entries, his timing on the takedowns were very, very clean. They were good. He got Chito down to the ground, but didn't do much with it. Vera is really good off working off his back and getting to his feet, and he did just that. But in that first round, I think we saw the outcome of this, and I think it was just a matter of time before the fight ended. But in the first round, Chito landed like a short right hand and then knocked Cruz down. But it looked like Chito didn't even put that much power into it. Like he just barely touched him, and it did that damage to Dominick Cruz. So off that off that punch and off that round, I knew that this what it possibly is going to be. Maybe the next round or however long it might go. But Chito can end this fight whenever he wants. But in Chito fashion, he likes to really be patient, take his time with his game plan. He's not in a sense of urgency in anything. He really likes to let the fight play out itself, and just let things happen naturally. He's not going to go chase things. Chito just very in the moment and he just lets things go as they go. So it could be frustrating watching Chito, but at the same time, I respect it, and it these 5 round fights really work in his favor in him doing that. So I think he's going to find himself in many 5 round fights. So I don't see his game plan changing much. So if you guys don't like that, get used to it. If for Cheeto, his calm, he paces himself throughout 5 minutes. He's not going to go charge after somebody and look to put the power punches on them early. He's very calm in his approach. So, but that was the thing. Cruz wasn't going to win this fight by knockout. Maybe catch him in submission. Very likely, like unlikely though. But Cruz was going to win this fight with points, and he was going to win on volume. And I think it was all coming down to when Chito was going to figure out Cruz's footwork and his timing on his entries, and when Dom like to step in and go and then get out. It was all coming down to when Chito, figured out his footwork, and then once he figured it out, when he wanted to apply pressure with his power and his strikes. That was all this fight was coming down to, and I think Chito found the rhythm of Cruz's footwork and the way he liked to throw things. Maybe late into the second round, heading into the third. Um, but I called it though. I said in a text to my brother, before this fight started, Cheeto's best shot to end this fight was with the head kick or possibly like a flying knee. Cruz always likes to duck his head the opposite way he throws or what hand he throws. So if he's throwing to the right, he'll duck to the left and kind of swing his body, the opposite way. So it's hard for opponents to kind of find his chin in a way to wherever the strike is coming from. He'll move the opposite way to make it harder for opponents to find him. But Dom always ducks his head and when he's throwing punches. So if Chito could figure out that timing, that kick or knee was coming, and it did in the fourth. Chito threw a head kick that landed and broke Cruz's nose and put him away in the fight. But Cruz wasn't throwing a punch; he was just kind of shifting his body and kind of swaying away, and got caught with the kick. So Chito gets this fight done in the fourth round, KO, a beautiful knockout. I actually had this fight 29-28 heading into the fourth. I gave Cruz rounds 1 and 2, and then Chito the third heading into the fourth round. Even though Cruz got knocked down in the first round, I gave Cruz the volume and the strikes that he landed instead of giving Chito that one moment. I kind of went with Dominick Cruz winning that round off volume and just points, of course. So, but man, it sucks because Cruz looked really fast. He looked good in this fight. He looked healthy. But it's just sad to see another legend go out like this. Very hard KOs, getting knocked out very viciously. But man, it's tough because I'm such a fanboy of Cruz, and I've always been with Cruz since from his WEC days to him going to the UFC. Um, it's tough to see these older guys coming closer to the retirement and them getting older just take these fights to where they're going to get hurt, but you don't want them to get that hurt, like that viciously knocked out, but it happened. But I'm thinking Cruz has, I don't know what his fight contract looks like, how many fights he has on his contract, but I think that time of retirement is coming soon. Hopefully before he retires, he fights Frankie Edgar, and maybe those two could possibly fight their last fight together. And how crazy would it be if we had two fighters fight and retired that after the fight, like two of them at the same time? I think that could happen with Frankie Edgar and Dominick Cruz. But Cruz is a legend, man. Cruz is the bantamweight goat until we get more further, into the bantamweight division now, because this roster in the 135 division is crazy. I think we have the next bantamweight GOAT in this division right now, but this division is so stacked. So I don't know. I don't know who the next bantamweight GOAT is, but I think it's Peter Yan because I'm a fan of that guy and I love the way he fights. But anyways, um, well that's Dom. Let's get into what's next for Marlon Chito Vera. This division is very very busy. The next few months. Um, let's see. So what it's looking like right now for the bantamweight division. We have Aljamain Sterling defending his belt versus TJ Dillashaw in October, UFC 280. And then we have Corey Sandhagen fighting Song Yadong on September 17th, headlining a fight night card. That's a great fight. And then we have Jose Aldo versus Merab Dvalishvili, who's fighting this Saturday at UFC 278. So the top of this division is very, very stacked and it's very busy. Everyone is booked already, especially Peter Yan, who is fighting Sean O'Malley in, I think it's UFC 280 as well, the same card as Aljo and Dillashaw. So everyone's busy. Everyone's taken. Chito seems to be the one left out with the dance partner. So here's how I see things and scenarios playing out. And it starts with Aldo and Merab fighting this Saturday at UFC 280 278, sorry. I think if Merab beats Aldo, I think Chito versus Merab should be the number one contender for the winner of Aljo and TJ. If Aldo beats Merab, Aldo fights the winner of Aljo and TJ. Now this leaves Chito. I think Chito gets the winner of O'Malley versus Peter Yan. Um, I don't know if Corey Sandhagen, win or lose, fights the. I don't know. Corey Sandhagen will find his way throughout whatever mess happens, and the winners and losers of these fights. But I think Chito fights the winner of O'Malley versus Peter Yan. So Chito is likely to wait until early in next year to fight again. But I just don't know who. I just don't see Chito fighting again this year, unless someone ends these fights early and comes out without an injury and is ready to go. Then I think we see them and Chito fighting later this year, and setting themselves up for a title fight early next year. So there are so many scenarios and fights for Chito. We just have to wait and see how this division plays out in the near months. So yeah, the 135 is on fire, and it's going to keep on being like that. So yeah, that is the main event. On to the co-main, which was the fight of the night for me, and probably one of the best fights this year. We had David Onama versus Nate Landwehr. So going into this fight, I knew if Nate Landwehr was around for the second and third rounds, this fight was going to be Nate's, and I think Onama was going to have to fight and make his way crawling back into this fight because Onama, yes, has power. He's a powerful striker, but if Nate could, weather the storm early of Onama in that first round, Landwehr was going to make this a dog fight. He was going to make it a brawl. He was going to make it messy, and he did in that second and third round. He had Onama hurt in that second round, ground and pound. He was just hurting Onama with volume and strikes. So, but Onama, I got to give Onama credit too. Like Onama doesn't have the best cardio to last 15 minutes. He's more of a sprinter than a marathon runner. And Onama came out just he almost put Landwehr away in the first. I'm surprised at the fight. I mean the ref could have ended it in the first and I wouldn't have any problem with it, but uh Nate somehow fought his way back into this fight and made it to the second round, and he took the fight from there. Onama just didn't have the cardio gas tank to really throw anything with power in the second and the third. He landed some good shots on Landwehr. He had him hurt in the late in the third round and in this fight, but it wasn't enough to put Landwehr away. Um, but Nate gets the win in the decision. I think it was a majority decision too. But if you guys missed this fight, I suggest you guys go watch this fight because it's the best fight I've seen this year, and it's up there for fight of the year. So amazing comeback win from Nate Landwehr. Uh, David Onama with James Krause in his corner, great coach. But man, if he could just figure out a way to kind of pace himself, but also be smarter with his power and how he is kind of, you know, be smarter with his energy, right? I think David Onama could be a lot better in the UFC, and he really needs to work on that cardio, though. I mean, he can barely fight. You know, these fighters who have big power just try to end fights so early, but sometimes fights are not going to end early, and just like this one, he didn't have the stamina to fight for 10 more minutes. So that needs to be handled, man. That needs to be fixed. I think if he can fix that, David Onama could be a real dangerous guy. I mean, he already is with his power, but if he could put everything together, even better. But great win for Nate Landwehr. If you guys haven't watched that fight, go watch it. 1 second. Okay. Next fight. Both of these ladies were making the UFC debut, and I had no expectations for this fight, but it was a very, very exciting fight for the 15 minutes. The fight between Yazmin. Oh, I had her last name on the tip of my tongue, and I just cannot pronounce it right now. So I'm just gonna say Yazmin versus Izmin Lucindo. Um, Lucindo is 20 years old, and Yazmin coming in at 23 years old. So these are very, very young fighters making their debut in the UFC at strawweight. Um, but man, Lucindo has power. She was landing some great shots, but I think in that first round she caught Yazmin hard. Like she got Yazmin good. But I think where I was kind of just like getting angry, I was like, Yazmin, if you can just she was finding her way in to close distance and get her shots off, but she wasn't disciplined enough to pull back and avoid the big shots from Lucindo because yeah, so she was getting hit. She was putting herself in the danger zone and staying there for too long and risking, you know, just getting hit by these big shots by Lucindo. But Yazmin after the first round came back to the second and did some adjustments. Timing was a lot better on her ins and outs. You know, hitting Lucindo, getting in, hitting, and then avoiding the power shots. So Yazmin wins this fight, I think 29-28 in my on my scorecard. But I'm very excited to see what both of these ladies do in the UFC and what they can do in the strawweight division. I know the women's strawweight division is crazy. It's great, but you know, you can never have too much like young blood in this division and in sports. So yeah, great things from them. Next fight we had Devin Clark versus Azamat Murzakanov. You know what? I'm at this point where it's hard for me to watch a Devin Clark fight. He has the body of like an athletic freak. He looks like he should be like an athletic freak in the sport, but he's been getting his ass kicked. Like it's like not funny because I feel bad for Devin Clark anytime he gets hit and he shells up and he like just handles so much damage. It hurts to see him in the sport. Like I hope he I don't know. I don't know, man. Like I hope Devin Clark is all good because this man is getting his shit wrecked. Like almost every fight, Devin Clark is like Oh man, it's bad. You know the beatings that he takes. But this fight was cool. This fight was more of like a bathroom break, go get a drink. So I was kind of watching it, but I wasn't watching it. But the things I did see, the fight, the bits of the fight that I did see, Devin Clark was getting worked, and I hope it stops. So yeah. All right, next fight. We had Priscila Cachoeira versus Ariane Lipski. So Ariane Lipski, her nickname in the UFC is Queen of Violence. I think it's time for her to find a new nickname, and I think it's time for her to just give that nickname up because the whole Queen of Violence thing, I think it happened before she came into the UFC, but ever since she's been in the UFC, not so much violent at all. I don't know. Like, uh, Lipski seems to let me down a bit every time because I do kind of I thought highly of her coming into the UFC, but it just hasn't been working out. I mean, yeah, she's had highlights here and there, but uh, man, I don't know. Like Priscilla Cachoeira was the underdog in this fight, and I was like super surprised she was. I knew she had the power advantage over Lipski, um, but in this fight, Cachoeira touched Lipski with the right hand, and I think Lipski felt the power of her, and she like started moving back. And then when they were trading punches before Ariane Lipski hit the ground and got knocked out, uh, like none of Lipski's punches were doing anything to Priscilla Cachoeira, and Cachoeira just lands this beautiful right hook almost and puts Lipski out, and Cachoeira wins TKO in the first round. And I don't know, like I just knew that Cachoeira's right hand was just too much for Lipski. So I was surprised that she was a underdog going into this fight. I thought that was easy money on the underdog. So I know hopefully guys put some money on Cachoeira in this fight because underdog money, baby. But on to the next fight, the fight that opened up the main card. We had Bruno Silva versus Gerald Gerald Meerschaert. Sorry. Bruno Silva versus Gerard Meerschaert. Um, this fight. This is the crazy thing about MMA. Bruno Silva went 3 hard rounds with Alex Pereira. That Alex Pereira is fighting Israel Adesanya in November. So he's known for his striking. Pereira is known for being a kickboxer. Um, he's known for having power in his kicks, his hands. Bruno Silva went 3 hard rounds with him, and he came into this fight fighting Gerald Meerschaert, who is known for submissions and all that. And Meerschaert made Bruno Silva look like a rookie almost in the stand up. Like Meerschaert was touching up Bruno Silva all night, and Silva could not find his distance at all in this fight. And Meerschaert was making it hard for Silva to like get any punches off and get any like effective punches off. It was so frustrating to watch because I had Bruno Silva winning this fight in the first round, TKO, KO. But Meerschaert with that veteran just mindset, I don't know, just the way he was defending punches, he was had the head movement going. Uh, he made Silva look like foolish at times. I was like, "Whoa, what is Bruno Silva doing? Like he cannot get anything down. He can't get any rhythm going." And Meerschaert dropped Bruno Silva in the third, I think, and then hops on a submission and taps. He submits Bruno Silva in the third. Freaking crazy, man! Like I couldn't believe it. I felt like this could go the way it did, but I just thought Bruno Silva's stand up was too much for Gerald Meerschaert because Meerschaert usually doesn't move his head. He usually keeps his head on center line. So I thought Bruno Silva was going to land a straight punch and put Meerschaert out, but Once I saw Meerschaert rolling with punches and moving his head and being smart with the stand up, I knew that it was going to be a long night for Silva, but I didn't think it was going to be like that. So big ups to Gerald Meerschaert for proving me wrong, proving a lot of people wrong because he was underdog too. So, but that was the main card. It was a good main card. The co-main and the main really set this one off, man. So let's get into just quick prelim recap. I'm not going to spend too much time on the prelims, but I just wanted to point out some names. Um, Angela Hill gets the win over Lupi Godinez. Lupi looked good. I'm a fan of Lupi Godinez, but I think Lupi Godinez needs to find her correct weight class and go from there because I think she just having trouble finding the correct weight class because I don't know. I don't. You know what? I don't know what I'm talking about. Actually, um, we'll just we'll just move on. Nina Nunez gets the the split decision win over Cynthia Calvillo. Nina Nunez actually retires from UFC with this win. So all best of luck to her. Yes, that is Amanda Nunez's wife. So yeah, good luck to Nina Nunez in life and coaching and all that. I think she would do a good job at being in people's corners. Oh my guy, we got to talk about Mowgli. Gabriel Benitez. Gabriel Benitez is one of my favorite fighters. I know that's not a crazy name in the sport. He's not like a well known person, but if you guys watch this, you guys know Gabriel Benitez. This man just is a nothing but exciting fights. He had a tall task, I think, even though Charlie Ontiveros is a very, I don't know. The odds may have said that this was a wash and the easy win for Benitez, but Ontiveros throws very crazy kicks, so it could have caught Benitez, but Benitez, my guy, came through with a TKO in the first round, and it was beautiful. Always love seeing Gabriel Benitez win. Makes me happy. Tyson Nam knocks out O'Day Osborne. I don't know what O'Day was planning on doing with, he jumped up in the air with a flying knee, came down, and then Tyson Nam threw a right, almost like overhand right, and it landed, and O'Day was done. I don't know what he was trying to do with that, but it is what it is. Jason Witt gets knocked out nasty with the against Josh Quinlan. Quinlan gets the first round KO. Yusuf Zalal gets the draw, and yeah. So yeah, that wasn't like a crazy dissect of the prelims. I do plan on doing a more of a deep dive on prelims when I have another person with me because it's a lot of talking just being one person doing this. So let's go. All right, guys. Next on this, before I close out this episode, I just want to talk about UFC 278. We have the welterweight champion Kamaru Usman defending his belt versus Leon Edwards. This is the second time they're fighting. So, man, I'm excited for this fight. I think Kamaru has a real dangerous challenger on his hands. In Leon Edwards. It's crazy. I've never been like a Leon Edwards fan, but I've always respected what he's done in the octagon. But man, these two are just different fighters, and they've grown differently. They've added different tools to their arsenal since their first fight. Um, but I've tweeted this and I've said it on another recap I've done with my friend Effie. Any sports action cast. I said this on there. Like I got Leon Edwards upsetting here. I got Kamaru Usman losing his belt. I'm taking Leon Edwards in this fight. I'm leaning towards Leon Edwards' his not his reach. He's at a reach disadvantage. I'm leaning towards his wrestling takedown defense and just his variety of strikes he can throw. I know Kamaru Usman has improved in his stand up. He has a powerful jab, but I don't know. I feel like every time like I discredit Usman's power in his hands and like his striking, he always proves me wrong and finishes the fight with his hands. So I know that jab is there. I know that jab is being worked on and refined, but I'm leaning towards the challenger here to pull up the upset and take the belt from Kamaru Usman in a decision. So I got Leon Edwards in winning a decision. The co-main of this card though is Luke Rockhold versus Paulo Costa. Luke Rockhold making his comeback. That man has been talking a lot of stuff, saying he's the one to beat Izzy. All that bullcrap. I don't believe it. I don't put much stock in it. I think Luke Rockhold gets knocked out within 2 rounds. I'm surprised if this fight even goes to the third round. Yeah, I got Costa KO second round. Next, we got Jose Aldo versus Merab Dvalishvili. Merab is Merab is a monster, but Jose is just in this. I don't know. I might lean Aldo because Aldo does have good takedown defense, and he has better striking than Merab. So I'm gonna lean Aldo, but I don't know, man. I know Aldo doesn't get tired much nowadays, or he hasn't showed much fatigue in his fights. But if Jose kind of punches himself out and like he gets tired, Merab is going to take him for a ride. And I don't know. I don't know. I'm going Aldo right now, but I could change this pick. Ooh, we have a heavyweight bout. We have Marcin Tybura versus Alexander Romanov. If you guys don't know Alexander Romanov, you guys are about to find out. I think he's going to make light work of Marcin Tybura and move up the rankings in the heavyweight division. And I think Romanov is going to be a name in the heavyweight division that people are about to notice real soon. And then we got Tyson Pedro versus Harry Hunsucker. Tyson Pedro looked good in his last fight. So I'm probably leaning the Pedro to get that done. I just want to look at the prelims real quick. Jared Gordon. So Jared Gordon, Patty Pimblett actually called out Jared Gordon and said if Jared Gordon if Jared Gordon wins this fight, Patty Pimblett was going to look to call him out next for his next fight. So keep a lookout for that. I don't know. These prelims are not that crazy, but we have a lot of fights on like the lighter scale of things. So a lot of these flyweight, bantamweight, featherweights make for exciting fights. So it should be a pretty explosive, very fun, fast paced prelim card. But yeah, man, I just have Leon Edwards upsetting Kamaru Usman. And man, that's the episode, guys. That's the recap for UFC San Diego. And be on the lookout for the more of breakdown, and we'll get into more dissecting things and fights on these breakdown episodes that we will drop midweek. So be on the lookout for that. But I appreciate you guys. Hopefully, I earn your sub with this video, and hopefully, we can start gathering. Start gathering and making a small MMA community on the YouTube channel. I appreciate you guys. Hit that notification bell. Stay up to date with me, and when I drop these videos, I don't always plan to do these alone. I always plan to have someone else. So you guys won't, don't get sick of me yet. I will always plan to have a co-host with me on these MMA episodes. So I do plan to have someone breaking down UFC 278 in a few days. So stay on the lookout for that. And I appreciate you guys. Keep it a buck.
Bitch. Yeah, my shit different. I stay glistening, they stay chasing me, I stay pivoting. I'm positioning all my dividends.